Hi everyone, I'm Lauren and welcome back to my channel. This is Lighting Lavender, where we talk about all things books and my own writing journey, and today I'm going through my October wrap up. In October, I only managed to get through 4 books. I say only as if I've not been reading 3 for the past few months, but I got through 4 books. My average rating for the month was 3.75 stars, so not too bad of a reading month in my opinion. I read 2 audiobooks and I read 2 ebooks. 2 of the books were from the library and these were my audiobooks. So I don't have any actual physical books to show you this month, but I will leave pictures of the covers here just so you know which book I'm talking about at which point. The first book that I read in October was Cancel Shawn Boston by Savy, Leiser and RK Gold. This book was pretty much written for the meme. I gave this book 3.75 stars. I really enjoyed it. It did exactly what it told you it was going to do. Savy and RK have been writing this book on live streams for the past year. Yes, I follow Savy on YouTube and I have also started following Savy and RK's daily morning show, which they've been doing as a sort of podcast but also live on YouTube for the past, I think it's been about 8 months, maybe longer now, and they did mention this book quite a lot in there, and I wanted to read it because I'd seen what they were doing on the streams and it just sounded so completely wild that I wanted to see where it was. But this book was set during the pandemic. It focuses on 2 characters. It's sort of like a romantic comedy, internet drama parody type book. It's difficult to describe, but it does mimic a lot of the YouTube internet drama that we've had for the past couple of years, and it delves into that sort of influencer psyche, which I thought was really interesting. I liked the way the 2 characters were written. Savy wrote all of the chapters from the perspective of Lindsay and RK wrote all the chapters from the perspective of Shawn, although they did cross edit, so it is pretty much a complete joined piece of work. I really enjoyed it. It was definitely a different type of book. I've not read anything quite like that before, but it was definitely done for the meme as well. The books in American prices at least have 69 or 420 or something related to that. It was done pretty much as that sort of like meme idea, but I did really enjoy it, and I think anyone, if you get the chance to read it, you should go and read it just because it is so unique and so different. It's also going to be the first in a series called the Cancel series, so they're going to be exploring this internet, YouTube, MLM sort of issues throughout and the drama from it, and yeah, I'm just down for it and I can't wait for the rest of the books to be written. The second book that I read in October was The Secret Gift by Bethany Atazadeh. Bethany is also a AuthorTube channel and a self-published author, so that's 2 for 2. This book is a prequel to her Stolen Kingdom series. I've not actually read the Stolen Kingdom series, but this book came out this year and it was a novella, and I thought it'd be a good way to introduce myself to Bethany's writing and to see if it is something that I want to read more of in future, because I really enjoy her YouTube videos and the way that she comes across in the videos. So if I do want to support people where I can, but I also don't want to buy things that I'm not going to enjoy. So I'm happy to say that I gave this 3.75 stars. Again, a book that I really enjoyed. This is a villain origin story and deals with a character called Jezebel. Jezebel is a genie or magical being who has a gift that she's kept secret her entire life, and this book explores the reasons why she becomes the way she does in the series as a whole, and I am excited to see what Jezebel is actually like in the Stolen Kingdom series, because this book is very much portrayed as a villain origin story. So I'm intrigued by where she ends up in the sort of present day story rather than this prequel. Bethany has also said that she will be writing a series based on Jezebel and Jezebel's story, so I'm excited to read some of those as well, because I did enjoy the character. I liked the world building, especially seeing as I'd not come into the series before, so everything was new, and despite the fact that this was a novella, you couldn't tell with the world building because I did get like a fully immersed feeling within this world. I did find it a little dry in places, I think is the right word, which is why I only gave it 3.75 stars. For me, that's a really good rating. I kind of do like 5 is outstanding, 4 is really good but not quite a 5, 3 is like I enjoyed this, 2 is a definitely would not recommend, and 1 is a throw it in the bin. Please set this book on fire, which I'm not sure is like a similar rating that most people use. And I did do a video all about my own, how I rate my books, but I think it's changed slightly since I did that video. But yeah, so 3.75 stars. It was a really good book. I think because I'd not got the full understanding of the series maybe, or maybe it's just because it's a novella so you can't quite have as much time exploring certain elements. Yeah, it just, I don't know, there was just a little bit something lacking from this, but that might just be because I've not read the other series, and maybe once I've read the Stolen Kingdom series and if I go back to this book I will realise that the bits that I thought were lacking actually aren't. The third book that I read in October was The Near Witch by V. Schwab. This was an audiobook from my library app. I forgot that I'd requested this from my library until I received an email notification telling me to download it, so I guess that was a good way to remember. I gave this book 4 stars. I really enjoyed the story. To say this was a debut piece of work from V. Schwab, it was amazing. I really loved the element of using folklores within the story and the way the magic system was portrayed in here. I didn't like the audio narrator, but I tried to not let that affect my rating of the story, but I didn't like the way that she said the sentences. I didn't like her intonation and it was a little bit off-putting, so I don't really know how to describe it, but if you do feel like, yeah, I don't know, it just didn't feel like I was in the mind of I think Lexi is like a teen, I'm sure she's 16, so it's like we've got a 16-year-old's point of view, but it didn't kind of feel like that. I don't know, it just felt a little bit off the audio part, so just wanted to put that out there. But overall, I loved the story, I loved the world building, I loved the intrigue, I liked the way the plot developed, I liked all the little nuances within it. I really loved the use of the nursery rhyme and the children's bedtime stories and the folklore of the Near Witch, and she would take you and carry you off, and yeah, it felt very British in a way. Just the way that these stories are told, it felt like a very old-timey sort of stories and like spooky tales and things like that. I did really enjoy it and I thought it was a good book. Give it 4 stars. I felt like there were just a little bit something missing from it. Like I said, I gave this 4 stars. It wasn't quite one of my new favourites of the year, but it was a really good book. I don't know if I'd have given it anything different if I'd have read it myself, but yeah, I did enjoy it and it did make me really want to read more of V. Schwab's work. And the 4th and final book that I read in October was The Ashburn Boy, also by V. Schwab. This is a prequel to The Near Witch. It was part of my audiobook that I listened to, but because this is actually a prequel in its own right, I'm counting it as an extra book. I'm allowed to do that, okay? I gave this book 3.5 stars. I liked the story, but I didn't like the story. This focuses on the character Cole from The Near Witch and his sort of origin story, I guess, in a way, and why he ended up in the town of Nia and what he was doing with the sisters there. But I don't know if it was that it felt rushed, but it felt like there was a lot of information missing. I would have liked this story to be longer, to be honest, rather than it being a prequel. I feel, or it was like a prequel short story rather than a prequel novella. I felt like it could have expanded a little bit more. There's still things that I would love to delve into, or I would love V. Schwab to just write more about this world and go into it. I love the world building, I just want to know more about it, and I think that's my main issue with this. I was expecting it to just be a little bit more in depth and give me a little bit something more than what we actually got, because I'm not really sure what Cole's mum was doing and it's still bothering me even now that I don't really know where that was going. There were 2 books that I started in October, but I didn't finish them until the very start of November, so they will go into my November wrap up. But I did almost get to 6 books, which it would have been amazing if I could have managed it, but not quite this month. Maybe November I will be more lucky in that regard. If you've read any of the books I've mentioned in this wrap up, let me know what your thoughts are on them. Did any of you have the same sort of issues with the narrator of Near Witch as I did if you've listened to the audiobook? I don't know, there was just something I didn't like about the person narrating that story. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a like, and if you want to see more videos from me, don't forget to subscribe. There's a new one out every single week. I hope you're well and you're all staying safe, and until next time, bye!